we're going to wrap up this lovely, wonderful show with a man who actually, strangely enough, is not living here right now. Steve has been coming to our show for many, many years now, and he has also written a book, Why Stevie Can't Date. And as soon as he is finished with his story, accost him and get the book from him, find out where it is. It is an amazing, profound book, as is the man himself. And when I wanted to conceive of the show, he's also one of the first people I wanted to ask, because I love his stories about traveling, about being on the road, about being in his car and just driving. And this is how I usually introduce Steve, and so I shall tonight. He is a trip to the moon on gossamer wings. Mr. Steve Robinson.
Okay, so Beverly made that clear. I'm here as an expatriate. I lived in Los Angeles for 12 years, and then 4 years, and then 26 years. The 12 years were my first 12. I left 8 years ago because I could no longer take the traffic, vehicular and otherwise. Apart from you, I found the crowd madding. So I left and I went to the desert, and it is there where I now miss the two institutions that I've always missed when I have not lived here: the Los Angeles Times and Vin Scully. You always get the finest, the very best, the finest, at the sign of the finest, the sign of the 76. In the fall of 1959, I came home one day from Nessel Avenue Elementary in Tarzana and found my grandmother watching the Dodgers and the White Sox in the World Series, more excited than I'd ever seen her. I had no idea what was going on. But by the spring of 1960, I was in Little League, collected baseball cards, and loved the Dodgers. I'm from Milwaukee and I ought to know, it's draft brewed Blatt's beer wherever you go. Smoother, fresher, the feeling that's clear. Blatt's is Milwaukee's finest beer. Well, hi everybody, and a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Dodger baseball is on the air. I listened to as many games as I could on 50,000 watt Clear Channel station KFI Los Angeles. This is when Clear Channel was not a company but a condition. You could hear KFI in Lake Tahoe at night. The KFI was the flagship of the Dodger network, which stretched from San Luis Obispo to Yuma, maybe Phoenix, but I don't know. I didn't care because I was here, the center of things. My mother worked at Warner Brothers, and in 1963, after I just turned 11, on September 15th, she somehow acquired 2 reserve-level seats for Game 3 of the 1963 World Series. Dodgers and Yankees. The Dodgers took the first 2 in New York, then they came here. The seats cost $6 each, which was pretty steep then for reserve level, but it was the World Series. We're on the first base side, 3rd level. Yankee right-hander Jim Bouton scatters 4 hits, but hometown hero Don Drysdale, who went to Van Nuys High, gave up only 3. The Dodgers scored 1 run in the first inning on a walk, a wild pitch, and a single, and we won 1-0. In the 7th inning, Yankee catcher Elston Howard slammed a comebacker to Drysdale, who stabbed it and threw to first, and I was keeping score because I knew how, And in the margin, I wrote, "Fine play by Don," because that's what Vinny said on the radio. In May of 1964, Sports Illustrated did a major profile on Vin Scully and called it the Transistor Kid, because so many people brought radios to the game to hear him describe what they were seeing. The article, the last one, the major article for that week, had a full picture, black and white, of freeway traffic, and on the other side, red-headed Vin at the microphone, because that's what LA was. And this was a national magazine focusing on our guy, and I had a subscription. I used to have Vin on my answering machine without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Although it probably was. I took it off the vinyl LP of the 1981 championship season. So you would call me in here, "High fly ball to deep right field. Murphy goes back, oh way back, she is gone." Gone, like me. Leave a message. Sometime when you have 10 free minutes, Google Gibson home run. Watch Vin's television call of the injured Kirk Gibson at bat in the bottom of the ninth of Game 1 of the 1988 World Series. After calling the home run, and you have to watch the whole at bat after Mike Davis walks. You have to watch the whole at bat because Vin sets it up so beautifully. The at bat ends with Vin saying, "High fly ball into right field, she is gone." And he says nothing. Gibson rounds the bases, the Dodgers pour on the field, the stadium goes insane. The losing Athletics trudge into their clubhouse, their faces reflecting what the radio call said. Jack Buck, who was as popular in St. Louis as Vinny is here, Jack Buck said, "I can't believe what I just saw." And he couldn't believe it so much, he said it again. This is as Gibson is rounding second. And a lot of times when you see the clip, they'll play Jack Buck's call because that was what he said at the time. But Vin stayed quiet for 67 seconds, letting the pictures tell the story. And then he said, oh my God. "In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened." And then he was quiet again. I once met the legendary Yankee broadcaster Mel Allen when he was doing the show This Week in Baseball, and I conducted myself accordingly. But I always feared that meeting Vin Scully would be different. 1965 National League Championship Series, Dodgers and Cardinals. In Game 2, Hershiser goes all the way like pitchers used to do. I'm at the game courtesy of NBC because I work for TV Guide. After the game, I have this badge that gets me into the hospitality tent. Free food and drink, and now we're up 2-0 over the Cardinals. Tommy Lasorda passes me on his way into the tent, and I shake his hand and say, "Good game," and he says, "Thank you." A little later, I'm talking to my friend Kit, an NBC publicist who is my comedy buddy. We go out to open mic nights and wait as long as we can before getting called or deciding it's too late because we have day jobs. Kit looks like Dinah Shore, is from Tennessee, and she is full of Southern charm. So we're talking, and over her shoulder, I see Vin Scully come into the hospitality tent. And I gasp. Kit turns around, turns back to me and says, "Do you want to meet him?" And I can't believe what she just said. I can't believe what she is offering. Because at that point, I'd been listening to Vin Scully for 25 years. And at this point today, I'm sure I'm not the only 62-year-old kid who feels that Vin Scully helped raise me. My mother, my grandmother, Vin Scully. I once heard Vin Scully quote my father. My father was in radio, and Vin once opened a broadcast with, as Henry Morgan used to say, "Hello, anybody?" That would have been a great conversation starter, but I didn't think of it at the time. All I could think was, Vin Scully is right over there. So I looked at my friend Kit and I shook my head no. I can't. I know I will become a babbling idiot and call him my surrogate father. And it's just too embarrassing to imagine, yet I have several times over the years, and I try to not regret my decision. If he's on the radio, when I come for Story Salon, I stay in the car a little extra time and soak him up. You may know, he just announced he's coming back next year for his 67th year broadcasting Dodger games, and that it will probably be his last. So while you're here in LA, I suggest you soak him up too. Thank you.